What is up, YouTube? It's Ralph from Motormouth813 here, and today we're talking about something super important, the return of the Saleen S7. That's right, Steve Saleen has just announced that he's bringing back America's true first supercar, the Saleen S7 Twin Turbo. They're only going to be building 7 of them, and each of them will cost $1 million. Very steep, but it's worth it for America's true supercar. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Saleen history, let me give you a quick crash course. They were first introduced in the year 2000, and they came with a 7-liter naturally aspirated Ford 427 overhead valve V8. Now, this was crazy back then because it was put in this car that only weighed about 2,800 pounds. Now, this kind of reminds me of the C6 Z06 in terms of, weight to power distribution. And I really kind of see this as being the platform of the new C8 Corvette, but don't quote me. I just really see that the C8 Corvette is going to be just like the old Saleen. Lightweight V8 with in the back, and it's going to be crazy. So getting back to the facts here, the V8 that was put into this Saleen produced 550 horsepower, blistering acceleration numbers. It did 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds, quarter mile at 11.35 seconds at 128 miles per hour. Now, to be that fast in the year 2000 is ridiculous because supercars and high-end sports cars today are struggling to pull those numbers. And it's ridiculous that something could do it back in the year 2000. Now, not only do I say that this Saleen reminds me of the C6 Z06 because of the power to weight distribution, but also it has the 7-liter V8. It also redlines at 7,000 RPM, just like the C6 Z06, which is why I said the similarities are just, uncanny. You can't deny that. The original S7 had an estimated top speed of 220 miles per hour. And the very interesting fact about this car, it was so aerodynamically advanced that at 160 miles per hour, it created its own weight and downforce, about 2,800 pounds worth of downforce to be exact. That is ridiculous, even by today's standards. And all this could be had for about $475,000. That was a lot of money to ask for back then, but like I said, for what you're getting, it was well worth it. Now, in 2005, Saleen revealed the twin turbo version of the S7, which produced 750 horsepower and 750 foot-pounds of torque. Now, this car weighed about 2,900 pounds, but was ridiculously fast. It covered the quarter mile in 10.5 seconds at about 135 miles per hour. It did 0 to 60 at an estimated 2.8, 0 to 100 in 5.9 seconds, and 0 to 200 at 27 seconds. Oh my gosh, and an estimated top speed of 240 miles per hour. By today's standards, 248 miles per hour is still a ridiculous number. I mean, that's Bugatti numbers, that's Hennessy Venom numbers, that's Koenigsegg numbers. I can never say that right, but Koenigsegg numbers. That's, it's ridiculous how fast that car went in 2005. And the fact that they're coming out with the new one, oh man, you guys just better be ready for it. Now, the twin turbo version was a much wilder animal than the naturally aspirated, of course. It was also made it to a 6-speed manual transmission, so you had to have some balls to drive it. But it was an absolute monster, and you had to be a very skilled driver to get it around a track. But with the engine being in the rear, it stabilized it much better than it would with the traditional V8 in the front of the car, like a lot of American V8s come. But mid-engine V8, 2,900 pounds, that's a recipe for a track beast. Now, they stopped producing the twin-turbo Saleen S7 in 2009, and now Steve Saleen says they're bringing it back. So let's talk about the new one. 1,300 horsepower. It's got a 7-liter twin-turbo V8 engine producing 1,300 horsepower, matched to a 6-speed manual transmission and a limited slip differential. With rear-wheel drive, it's gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be a handful, to say the least. Now, I don't have the exact numbers for the weight of the new Saleen S7, but I do know it's going to be just as light as the last ones, as it's made from a steel space frame material, and all of the lightweight body panels are made from honeycomb composites. You heard me right, honeycomb composites. Go look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. I had to look it up myself. Now, with all of this talk about lightweight materials, it sounds like a full-out race car, right? I know, but the interior is actually pretty practical. You get power windows, power locks, and even heated seats. So for $1 million, you actually get a pretty nice supercar. Go figure. If I spend $1 million on a car, I want heated seats and intermittent windshield wipers and power windows and power locks too. So that should definitely be a given. But I wouldn't expect anything short from Saleen because they are definitely a prestigious company. I can't wait for the release of this new S7. It's going to be ridiculous. And like I said, the Saleen just reminds me of Corvette so much with the raw V8 power. The only difference is, of course, the V8s with the Corvettes have traditionally been in front of the car, and the Saleen has always been in the back. But I mean, when you're dealing with that much horsepower, over 750 horsepower, you're going to want the engine to be in the rear. And the new Corvette ZR1 is kind of pushing the limits with that right now, coming out with the 755 horsepower V8 engine supercharged, and the engine is going to be in the front, of course. But I'm sure that ZR1 has got magnetic ride control and everything is going to, distribute that weight very well, and is going to plant the power pretty well on the track. But moving forward, that's why with the new C8 platform, Chevy is going to decide to go with the rear engine platform, because that is honestly the best idea when you have that much horsepower. So that's what we're going to do with the C8. That's what Chevy's going to do, and I can't wait for it, just like I can't wait for the new Saleen. Now, Saleen is going to give us the new S1 coming this summer, though, but that only has 450 horsepower. But it's still going to be a pretty good sports car for those who want to get it. And with 450 horsepower, it might not compete with the Huracans and the ZR1s and the Porsches of the world, but it's still going to be a pretty good car, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be light. So let's just stay tuned and see how that comes out. Now, I don't have any doubts when it comes to Saleen's performance record, because as we all know, Saleen has been in, professional races. And in the year 2000, when the first Saleen was produced, they also entered the S7R into the American Le Mans series. And they did not finish first, but they got some top spots and some podium places in their racing history. But like I said, they weren't the best, but they still did really good and got some top spots. If you could compete with Ferrari and Lamborghini and stuff like that and get some top podium spots, you're good in my book. Just a few tracks to name where they got some top spots and podium spots was, of course, the American Le Mans and the Sebring's track. So, they got some top spots. They weren't always first place, but they got some top podium spots. So that's pretty impressive considering the car manufacturers they were going up against back then. So I can't wait for the release of the new S7. I bet you guys can't wait for the release of the new S7 as well. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. And also let me know what you think about this video. If it was good, please hit that thumbs up button. Thanks for watching this video. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. You guys take care, and I'll see you next time.